Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Welcome.
and welcome back.
Yes, it's Q&A time, or
It
actually the
is.
A time, right?
It's the A time with a Q.
Truly, we're sorry that this took as long as it did. We don't normally take that long, but
Life happens.
life happens, and so
Yeah.
I think, Mari-Lyn, you can, this just pop into my head, and you
Okay.
can tell me what you think. Because it's in the United States, the holidays are here, right? We have Thanksgiving this
Yep.
week,
This week.
Christmas a month away.
Next month.
Christmas is almost everywhere, but people getting ready for people to come into their homes and so forth. We've had a lot of clearings lately, lots of clearings. They haven't wanted them on the channel, which is, you all know, fine with us. We still do them, but woof. I'm going to say it right now, so very grateful for so many reasons for our students. But let me tell you, there is no way you and I could have done all of those in the time frame that we did them had they not been.
Agreed.
They can do it all on themselves. We don't have to help them. They are professionals now, which is
they're pretty awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. So we thank all of our students for all of their help. Because woof, we got slammed with a bunch of them. And
thank you to everybody that has reached out.
Yes. Yes, we are. And I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful, because I'm not at all ungrateful. I'm very grateful for the whole situation that you've reached out, and we had the ability to clear your homes and land in some instances in a reasonable amount of time. And we would not have done that without our amazing students, and we thank them very much.
Appreciate them greatly.
Yes. So we are TCS, which stands for the Conscious Spirit.
Yes.
Everyday Psychics.
Yes, we are.
Yes. I'm Pam.
I'm Mari-Lyn.
Yes.
And we are so grateful that you are here today to get these answers.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start. For anyone who happens to be new, we are all dimensions energy healers. So no matter what dimension your soul resides in, we're here to help. All right. But today is mostly paranormal talk. There's some other.
There's a little bit of other, but yeah, it does seem like today is a lot of paranormal.
Yep. Yep. All right. So we have the questions that you all, when we said ask your questions, you put them down below, and that's great. And then we also have some that people have asked over the months in the comments, and we just can't answer those questions in the comments.
Oh man,
some of them are so involved. Yes.
There's no way to do that in a comment. So
no.
We love them. We love the questions.
Yes.
Keep asking them. But it's hard to, it's just impossible to do.
And when we remember, we take them from there, we put them on a list. So I have a list of ones that were not asked at the time. They've been asked in the past few months. Yeah. So we're going to try to get to them. And I'm sorry if we missed any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we didn't miss you.
I know. But you'll catch us next time, or we'll catch you next time, or however that works.
Yes.
All right. So this one, I'm going to sort of paraphrase this. This person has had back pain for many years. And I believe this person is male, just from the name, but not sure, and I'm not going to say the name. It's been intense and painful. He's been to doctors. They say there's nothing wrong. I don't know. And they give him painkillers. The painkillers really aren't working. He doesn't believe in the paranormal, ghosts and stuff. We came across his feed, and he says, I don't know why. I believe he said it was like a coincidence or something.
Out of nowhere, I think.
Out of nowhere. Yes, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
Yes, that's what, out of nowhere. No, Spirit led you to us.
That
and
was
we're so
Spirit-led.
grateful for that. But his question is, could what's going on with him be paranormal? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Do I look like a clown here?
No.
Yes, we talk about this often on our channel because it's very important. Not because we're like, oh, we have to answer this again. No, it's very important for people to know the damage that's done from living with the paranormal. The emotional, the mental, and the physical anguish, pain that can happen to you. And we know this from years of experience of clearing a home, and much of that goes away. And not always. There are absolutely, there are medical conditions that we can't do anything about.
Yes.
But these type of things.
And though I want to say about those medical conditions, if you already have a condition and you have paranormal activity, it's almost guaranteed that it's going to exacerbate whatever you have going on.
Yes.
And if there's wounding that's settled in there as well, then you know, you've got that compounding factor.
But the paranormal can do all of those things. You maybe never have back pain in your entire life, and all of a sudden have back pain. We had one, it was one of the first clearings we did on our channel. We had a clearing, and this man he'd been going to, you know where I'm going. He had like a irregular heartbeat.
Yep.
He had some pain in his chest. He'd gone to the doctor. They could not figure out what was going on. He decided, because he didn't believe in any of this either. And he just thought, well, we came across his feed, and he thought, I'm just going to watch. Why not? He contacted us. We cleared it all out. He went back to the doctor. It was like the very next day, 2 days later, like 1 or 2 days. Close. Yeah. And that was fast. It doesn't always happen that fast, but in this case it did. And the doctor was like, everything's fine. Like, what did you do? How did this happen? Yeah. Crazy. It was all paranormal. Yes.
Crazy, fabulous, wonderful. Yes.
Yeah. So, yes. And I think a good place for everyone to start, I mean, go get medical help. I'm not saying don't get medical help. No, you always need to go get medical help. But in the first inklings that something is going on, having your house cleared is, rule that out. It's something easy to rule out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not get it ruled out?
Yeah. And it's not going to hurt anything.
Nope.
Having a house clearing, even if there's no paranormal activity, it still raises the vibration. It gets rid of any old and stale and stagnant and blah, 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 blah.
Yes. Yeah. Yummy. So it's worth it to make that some of your first steps. And then maybe there are no other steps. However, this is not instead of medical help, medical advice, you've got to go it's your health. You need to take control of your health and do what you need to do. But yes, the paranormal, we've seen a lot of things, and the paranormal can do a lot to you. Spirits
can, and it will, and eek. Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes there's not even a ghost in your house. Sometimes it's just the energy is old. The grids, which we will get to tonight, are pretty messed up. So anyway, yes.
Yeah.
Always reach out to us. again, you all know we don't charge for it. We do accept donations, which many of you donate, and we're very grateful, but it's not a prerequisite.
No, it's not.
It's not a prerequisite. All right. So we hope this person, now that you have that answer, that you reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to help you.
Yes, we would.
Yeah. All right. Where do we go now? We've got a lot of questions here.
Oh, do you want to do another old one, or should we go to the question?
No, let's jump on to the one that we have marked as the first one. This is for you, my friend.
What's the difference between getting jumped and being possessed?
Such a good question.
It is.
Yes.
And is being possessed really how it's like being shown in the movies? I've never been possessed, so I can't speak to that if it's like it's in the movies. However, some of what I've seen in movies is pretty accurate to what I've experienced in seeing someone else be possessed.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. There is some superhuman strength. There's voices that come out of them, different languages.
Yes.
There's really all bruising or marks that look like they come in from the inside out. Just creepy as hell.
Yep.
Yes.
Changes in the facial.
Yeah. They look like a different person.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's bizarre.
And we haven't even seen like the top tier of what a possession can do.
No. Nor do I want to.
No, because it's even those lower tiers, because there's different tiers, there's different levels of possession. Even the lower couple that we've seen are it's incredible. Yeah. It's you almost find yourself watching and then you go, oh wait, I'm supposed to be helping here. Like, because it's bizarre. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I gotta say, being jumped is crazy enough.
Yes. And we'll get to the difference in a minute after Mari-Lyn. Yeah.
Yeah. Being jumped, man, you really lose for a very short amount of time any concept of reality.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's traumatizing. It's terrifying. It's not fun. I do know for a fact that there are people who think that, oh, that would be fabulous. That would be, I want to experience that. And please try to let go of that, because it's not something that you really want to experience.
No,
it's not. One of the I guess biggest differences in being jumped and in being possessed is being jumped is generally by an earthbound spirit, a ghost, and they jump in for a very short amount of time. Yes. They want to express their story.
Yes.
They want, and these are all ors, and they could be in any combination, but they want to experience being in a body. They want to experience anything that they can through another living body.
Yes.
Which, how much of that experience is real? Right. It's not. But it is for a very short amount of time, because they do not have the capacity to maintain that for very long.
And I do want to add to that, not every ghost can do it. It's not something, it's something that, well, really most of the time it's learned. When you come across an earthie that can jump you, they've learned how to do that. They've taken time to learn. However, like with Mari-Lyn's situation, they had the same trauma. And it's like a snap coming together.
Yep.
So this spirit was not practicing it. She was not whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was basically a willing participant.
Yes.
I was right there. That trauma bond, man, that trauma bond had me right there.
Yeah.
Okay. In a sense, I jumped her.
Okay, sure. Because you were leaning in.
I was
with your
really leaning in with my trauma and trying to really figure her out. And so I'm like, I'm here. Here I am.
Yes. Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah.
We are an active participant.
Yeah.
And I've proven that because now I know.
Yes.
Have I had the opportunity to be jumped since then? Number of times.
Yes, ma'am. Even in your own home.
Even in my own home.
You.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I know what that feels like, and I know how to stop it.
Yes.
And plus, I've done a whole bunch of healing.
Yes.
And so, the trauma bonds are not going to be as strong.
Right.
But it's not a good thing.
No, and it's all, whether it's jumped or possessed, especially possessed, it's about control. They're trying to control you.
Yes.
Or a situation. They're trying to. Possessed is from, to be possessed, they can stay in for a long time, and they can kind of go dormant. They can kind of come in and out, but they have possession over you. It's like having something that you have possession over. And those are, well, I've never seen it with an earthie. Only with
I've never seen it with an earthie. No.
Entities to whom have never been human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not every entity is going to try and possess you either. Right. So they can certainly try and hurt you and all of that. But usually the hurt comes from that we have trauma, and they know how to pick up on that trauma, and they know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great question.
It was a great question.
Did we answer it, do you think?
I hope we answered it.
Yeah.
I think we did. So, I mean, the biggest difference is, right, being jumped is from an earthie, and it's for a very short amount of time. Can they do it repeatedly? Sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they're not going to jump you and then stay.
No, they can't. There's no.
Mm-mm. Possessed? Yep.
Yeah.
It's full on. They're there.
Yes.
And they can stay.
Yep. And that's really scary. And both of those things can cause a lot of damage to the physical body.
Yes.
A lot of damage. So, yeah. I hope we answered that for you.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move on to another one?
Yeah. Want to go to number 2?
Sure. Let me see if I can find it. I got mine printed funny, so. Oh, this one's a great one because so the question is, are Wendigos real? And the funny thing about that, this happens so often, and it's just so funny. Shortly after that, we read that question and we knew it was there. We encountered one. So are they real? In other realms, yes.
Yeah. Are you going to see one walking down the street?
No.
Are you going to see one when you're out in a field hunting?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But if you do, it's not living in the 3 dimension. Just like some ghosts can be seen by people, that would be the same type. That's how it's a lot of folklore around it, right?
Right. And is it real as to what you're going to see when you look it up on the internet?
No, probably not. Well, again,
No,
on who's, there's all kinds of crazy
There-
information out there. So you can't believe everything.
there is. This is not a black and white answer.
No.
I think that's probably the most important part about this answer.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not a black and white yes, no.
Yeah.
But coming across one
Yes.
was bizarre.
Yes. I believe, and this is just my opinion, you all can believe what you want. Don't at me with a bunch of stupid stuff because I say something that you don't agree with. I believe at one time they were seen as protectors, and different indigenous tribes called on them to protect the tribe, protect the land, be protective. And then after the fact, it just sort of, they had no job. Once they have no job to do, then they sort of turn the other direction and start doing more
Going rogue.
Yes. Perfect way to say it. Yes.
Going rogue. Yeah.
Yes. The same thing as when we have gone into homes where they have had, not all witches are equal. I know this, but they've called on witches who do darker black magic to come in, and the witch will conjure up something to protect the family. Well, at some point, there's nothing to protect anymore, and then they turn on the family.
Yep.
And then we have an issue with that. So we've had, and it's the same, I believe it's the same type of thing.
Same scenario. Yeah.
Yes. And this was like in the one we did was like was it the Ozarks? Something like that. I can't remember but it was like in a really, and I apologize, I can't remember the mountains or the
Appalachians.
Appalachians, that's it. Yes.
I think so. I think it was in the Appalachians. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that was crazy. It was yeah, that's a whole great story on its own, but we won't go there. We have too many questions. So yes, they're real, just they're not walking on the 3D plane.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our next couple, we're going to bypass and answer later. Those are about grids.
Oh, yes. We're going to sort of take all the grid questions and answer them all together at one time, because it's sort of redundant to go over all of them. The rest, you all get so bored, like, so we'll do it all at once.
But there is one attached to a grid questions that I'm going to read. Is what are the different healing practices you use, like Reiki, drumming, etc.?
Okay. Did it say for what purpose they want to know about this healing?
It does not.
All right.
It does not. First, I want to say we do not do Reiki.
Correct. We do not.
Do we use energy? Absolutely.
Yes. Reiki is, I believe the word Reiki means energy. Something like that. Like
in Japanese, right? Because it's a Japanese form.
Yes. Form of energy healing. And it has become extremely popular around the world. And so Reiki is often thought of as, that's how you do energy healing. It is not exclusive. No.
It's not exclusive, but it is, and I don't know very much about Reiki. I'll be honest here. I just do not.
Right.
It's very specific. It has some very specific, rules.
Yes. Yes.
And
protocols.
And protocols. Love that word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't use, we do not do Reiki, but we absolutely use energy.
Yes. When I first started way back when, I got Reiki attunements. That was, I didn't know any different. And then I went to this healer and who does not do Reiki. I now do what she does, or within the same vein. And I was like, oh boy, this is what I want to do. Like, I was like, Reiki's out the window. Like, I've been to different Reiki masters, and I was a Reiki master and blah, blah, and thought that I would. There are a lot of really good ones. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but it's been brought up. So, yeah, we've gone way above and beyond that, and we call it multidimensional energy healing. For if I'm working on a physical person, it's called, because we are multidimensional, but we are also, what it also leads to is all dimensions. So no matter what dimension you're in, we're all dimension energy healers. So Reiki, no, we do not do. It's rare that I even bring up the chakras, because it's what we do. Everything's all incorporating. And one thing that Reiki does is they work on the chakras a lot. And not that we don't work on them, but that's not our focus at all. So was there something else with that question too?
So drumming, etc. And I would love for you to talk about your drum and sometimes the importance of it when clearing land. Because I have had healings with your drum before, and holy moly, the vibration that she puts out is.
Yes. And when Mari-Lyn says she's referring to my drum. I say she. So yeah. So way back, I'm not even sure when it started, but at a time when indigenous peoples, that's who was here and all over the world, not just here, but they the men in the tribe would go out and hunt, and they were ones that would go to war, et cetera, et cetera. And there was, and I don't remember, and please let me know if you hear something different or whatever, but the women, there was something, and then the women stayed back, they gave birth, they took care of the land and the tribe, and they used drums to represent the heartbeat of Gaia, of Pachamama, of Mother Earth, whatever you want to call her. And I believe they gifted them to the men. There's something to represent the heartbeat of all of us. Anyway, so drums became a big thing. And so she's very healing. I say she, I call it's a she. There's no way around that. And her vibration matches that of the land, or that of the land it's supposed to be, because when it gets all messed up, when there's been a lot of carnage and damage and wounding of the land, the drum helps the earth come back to the heartbeat that she's supposed to beat at. And that's when everything starts growing. If you've seen some of our videos, you've seen some of the clearings that we've done, sort of like the before and after, and grass starts growing. Trees get more, I mean, it's just amazing what happens.
Yeah.
And also the drum, when I did healings in person, when we had our space, there is when I drum over you in a particular way, in a particular beat, etc., it's intoxicating. It's really amazing. And it's also a detox. So your body lets go, and it's a regular detox, like you would go drink detox stuff for a couple days.
Yep.
That's what it can do.
It can, and it's fabulous.
Yes. It's a beautiful addition. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you. And thank you for the question.
Yes. Hopefully we answered that. I know I kind of go off into other directions sometimes.
And I'm going to say, I do want to add one more thing to this question.
Yeah.
Spirit.
Yes.
Spirit. That overall, that universal energy of love.
Yes.
Spirit, source, whatever you want to call it, God. That's the modality that we use.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. That Yeah, it's like something's missing here.
So yes, that's it. Because really, as we always say, I say 10%, Mari-Lyn says 5%. That's all we are of the whole process. Spirit does the rest of it.
Spirit does the rest.
We're only that little bitty conduit that gets to put it into words for the rest of it.
Yeah.
It comes through us, but it's all spirit. Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So where do we go now?
Ooh, number 5.
Are we up to 5 already?
We are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Office hours.
Oh yes, another one for you.
Office hours. Yeah, you talked about having office hours when it comes to helping spirits cross over, or whatever the case may be, and you can't do it 24/7. So my question is, are your spirit guides able to tell those spirits that you aren't available at that moment? Yes, after I ask my spirit guides to tell them that.
Yes. Spirit guides aren't going to cross your free will.
No. So just telling my guides once that I'm not available for spirits from this time to this time, that doesn't do it. Doesn't do it at all. If I were to remember every night before I went to bed, calling on my guides and saying office hours are closed, please keep anyone out. They would do that, but I don't. So,
but I don't.
I get woke up in the middle of the night, and I will have to call on my guides then. To please send them back to where they need to be. And I can talk to them when I'm supposed to talk to them.
And I know there are people that are like, oh, well, someone needs help. Why don't you help? We need our sleep. And they will wait, and we ask them to wait. We have a guide take them away to wait, whatever it is. If we helped at the moment, every time a spirit came to us, whenever they came to us, we would never get sleep. We would never have time to do 3D things. We would never have time to have a life. That's not why we have this gifting. We have this gifting to actually help. And if we are in a place where we can help, if we're so tired and worn out, we're not good to anyone.
No, we're not.
So we
have to be we have to be grounded and present and in the right vibration to really be able to help them. And if we're not, pretty soon we're not going to be any good to anybody, including ourselves.
So that's why.
That is the why.
There was something else in here about why don't they have, let's see, why don't ghost hunters take mediums with them? They don't want, and it's certainly in our case with Mari-Lyn and I, we're not going to go unless we can cross over the spirits. So no ghost hunter's going to ask us to come and help them, or to come on an investigation with them, because we're not going to just sit there and tell you what's there and not help.
No,
just not.
And the unfortunate thing is ghost hunting is a huge business. It's for entertainment. And we are not about the entertainment.
No.
I mean, we hope what we do is entertaining and thought-provoking. But we're not doing it for the entertainment value. We're doing it for the healing. The evolution, and
which is why we gave up doing ghost POV. Because we felt like we were part of the problem. We weren't helping. And it was very hard on us. It was
extremely hard.
So
and those places don't want their ghosts to be crossed over.
That's a big business. those places that you see that ghost hunters go to, all the videos, they rent those spaces. So whoever owns the building is getting paid to let those ghost hunters in. So it's not in anyone's best interest to have those ghosts crossed over. So those poor,
but for the ghost,
those poor spirits just get,
what about the ghost?
Brutalized over and over and over again. It's very sad. And I'm going to stop there because I'll just end up getting upset.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one.
Yeah.
My question is regarding curses and the evil eye. Can they damage a person's aura, and how do you remove them? I can't explain to you. I don't know if you're asking specifically, like, how do I actually go in and remove a curse or a spell? That's something that I've learned, and it is a learned thing that I do along with spirit. It's never by myself. I can't do anything by myself, as we just talked about. A curse or a spell is only going to work on you if you believe that it can. I'm sure I've had many curses and spells thrown on me. As a matter of fact, I know that the couple have. When we're getting rid of some spells, that practitioner tries to come back and it's like, yeah, not happening. And not that I do believe that they happen, but do I believe that it's going to hurt me? No. And so that's the big thing. If you talk to people in certain cultures, they'll tell you the evil eye is real. Yeah. And that's another thing. Depends on your culture. Will it damage the person's aura? Only if you allow it to. If you allow it to. And there are some, it's really weird. You see it. So I'm going to actually walk that back just a little bit. But it still comes down to whether you believe it, because we've had people call us and their health is really declining, things are declining, and we see that there's a spell and we remove the spell and they start getting better. They didn't know that they had a spell on them. However, they believe it. They're within a particular culture that believes that, and so there's really something there. I don't know how to describe it. It's something spiritual within them that they believe this to be so real that even if they don't know a spell's been put on them, it affects them. So so your aura is that question about the aura. Your aura comes from the inside. So whatever you're feeling on inside shows in your aura. So it's not the other way around. Anyway, okay, what's next?
So, I hope but with that said, with the aura, this could really turn into quite the conversation, actually.
Yes. Agreed.
Because if you allow the spell,
it's all about allowing
hold of you. You're absolutely going to be hurt on the inside. It's going to touch wounding.
Yeah.
And so then it absolutely can harm your aura. Is that a permanent thing? Only if you allow it.
Only if you allow it. Yep. Yep, absolutely.
Another shout out to healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we are not witches. We are not shaman. We do not practice any specific cultural thing, practices, whatever, modality.
Right.
Yet we have come across all of that, and we're able, because of spirit, to counter all of that. We can break spells and all of that, release you from different bonds, different banishments, different whatever. That's what we've been trained to do by our teams. So I know there are some people that will say, well, to get rid of that spell, you have to go to a practitioner of that particular craft, and that this and that, and the has to be male, or it has to be female, or whatever. It's like, not for us, it doesn't.
Exactly.
So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I hope that answered a question.
Yeah.
Yes. What question are we now? Or should I answer it?
We are on talking about diminished capacity for earthies.
Uh-huh. All right.
So there's a couple of questions in all this they're kind of tied together. Can you talk more about diminished capacity for earthies?
Yep.
When some die, are they like in a dream state?
Okay.
While others seem to know they died.
Right.
Especially kid ghosts. Why don't their parents who have crossed over get them?
Good question. That's a really good, all these are really good questions.
Yeah. And how can one person not know while others do? And can a soul be trapped? Well,
yes. So these are all really great questions.
yeah.
I'll answer the first one and then we'll kind of go back and forth maybe.
Yeah.
If I can, so diminished capacity. We talk about this all the time with earthies. So they have left this body, so they don't have a brain to think with. They're all pretty instinctive. They have very limited thought processes, and it's almost all, not almost, it's all in a lower vibration. So they don't take joy with them. We as humans, we sort of straddle the fear and the love. Mari-Lyn and I believe there are really two categories for feelings, emotions, vibration, and it's either love or fear, and everything else goes in there. Right. Joy, happiness, etc., jealousy, anger, whatever, right? As humans, we straddle those two. When we leave this body and we are in the realm that we get stuck in,
or trapped.
Yes.
I mean,
and that does happen. Yes. And there is a difference between those two. There's a diminishment because they don't have the brain anymore. They do not have access to the higher vibration like in the higher realms. So here we have a brain, we have a nervous system, we have everything that our body gives us. Mm-hmm. In the higher realms, you might call it heaven, whatever you want to call that, you have an enlightenment. And you know lots of things. So you're not neither of those places, and you're closer to us, way closer to us in the 3D realm. So there's a diminished capacity to think, to feel. You can't love. There's no love. There's no compassion. There are, whatever your wounding was in life, you have it tenfold if you get trapped or stuck. Mm-hmm. So that's why some souls are so angry. Well, they were angry in life, and you put them in that realm, and that's all there is. And you're just angry or depressed or codependent or lonely or sad, whatever, So I hope that answered the question.
I think something I want to say, you talked about when they go to the higher realms. Mm-hmm. And forgive me if you said this and I missed it, but they can still communicate with us, but yes, they have to lower their vibration. They can't bring it all the way down.
No.
To where we are on a human level. Correct. If we're in that speaker.
Yeah.
They can't bring it that low. So they bring it down. We have to bring it up.
So you're answering another question. Why don't the parents of so that question is kind of twofold, or it's there's bigger than that. When you're in the higher realms, you see the bigger picture. There isn't just, so that child that you had in this life isn't a child. It's a soul that has had hundreds of lifetimes. Mm-hmm. So you're not seeing it necessarily the same way. And to get all the way down to that level of vibration where that first of all, children are rarely ever, if you're talking about the age-wise, like a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, you rarely see them in spirit. They really are ushered to the other side. But a mother can be a mother to an adult too. right?
You're always a mother, right?
You're always a mother. So it's really hard for them to get down to that vibration. We do, if you've watched some of our videos, we will call in once we start to cross over an earthy, and they might be kind of reluctant to go. Most of the time it's because they think they've done something, they're going to be punished. And we'll call in their parents, and usually it's mom that come, the mom that was that earthy's mother in the lifetime they just left will come in and usher them over. So I hope that answered that question. It might have just brought up more questions for you, but some don't know they're dead because sometimes it happens so fast. They usually end up knowing. Usually if someone doesn't know, they haven't been dead very long.
True.
True. So,
and what's coming also is it's part of part of it has to do with the lessons they came in to learn.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. So I hope that answered your question. It may not have, it may have just brought more up for you, but that's the best we can do right now.
But thanks for asking.
Yes. Yes. All right. So.
All righty. Here's a good one.
Which one are we looking at?
Number 8.
To be one of our students?
Yes.
All right. To be one of your students for energetic work, what are the standards or rules for a student's life code of conduct, etc.? Like, are they allowed alcohol, tobacco, cannabis in their lives at all? Also wondering the same question to be a mediumship student. They're all the same to us as far as a student is a student is a student. You know, we would never say, okay, you can smoke, but you can't. We can't tell you how to run your life. You're going to do what you do. We can't do that. However, an impairment of any kind is dangerous for you. You also do not get the messaging that you do not get full loving messaging. You won't get the whole messaging. If you're working with the paranormal, you could be really hurt. Ooh, and
danger.
Your energy can be drained. I mean, all sorts of bad news. We know, we've heard from people, some of our students who, I don't think any of them watch any ghost hunters anymore, but they used to before finding us. And they've asked us those questions like, well, so-and-so goes and they're high and they say it helps them. It doesn't help you. That is, you are wounded. You are probably bored as hell, but you're just doing the videos for money. So you're trying to find, like, it's just not good. As far as a student, we can't tell you not to do anything, but it is required. We do require no substances within 24 hours of a class or a session or whatever we're doing. That's my personal rule. I can't tell you not to. You're an adult. You can do what you want, but for everyone's safety, for your healing,
yes,
that's what we recommend. And if you do it too much, I won't even take you. I'll just say it. I won't take you. Yeah. And I've had people try to lie to me. That doesn't work. And then I'm just done with you. Yeah. I don't play around with that stuff because it's too dangerous. And if you're really serious about this, you're going to follow those rules. If you're not serious about it, go somewhere else. There's plenty of teachers out there. Go find one.
This feels really important for somebody out there that's listening. If you feel like you have a problem with any substance and you want to pursue healing and you want to pursue the paranormal, or you want to pursue being psychic, you can recover from your addiction in the process of leading of moving toward all of those goals.
Yes.
You
And it can be
absolutely
quite helpful.
it definitely
to get to know spirit at a deeper level.
Yes, absolutely.
And, yeah. Here. I second that. I second it. I third it. I fourth it. One of our prerequisites, I guess that was kind of the question, is healing. There's a lot of healing in what we don't just develop people's abilities. You have to heal. You have to heal. And boy, I'll tell you, spirit rewards you for all the healing.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
absolutely.
Yes. So, all right. So let me take one off the other. How do you know if you're using your intuition or if it's what she calls fear, but I'm going to say ego?
Sorry.
Yes. That's really a big question, and it's one that everyone sort of has to find their way through that.
There's a learning curve.
That's a great way to say it.
There is a learning curve.
Yeah.
One way is how loud is the voice?
Yes.
Is it screaming at you, or is it just a very soft whisper?
Yes. And this is another thing with why we heal. If you've ever been to, I know I have been to a psychic of any sort, no matter what they're doing, healer, whatever. When they're not healed, you're going to get a lot of their ego. You're going to get a lot of, this is what you should do, and this is what you shouldn't. And it's going to be there's a difference in the messaging if I'm using my ego versus my intuition when I'm giving something to someone. Intuition is so smooth and that intuition, when it hits you, you know that it's truth. You may not want to look at it or agree with it. You may get triggered by it, but it's truth. Ego is just that. It's your ego. It's me wanting to have an answer for you, want to take control of the situation, whatever it is. It's not the same. And that's something that really, go
ahead. When it's ego, there can be an element of negative emotion arising in you. You can tense up. You start getting triggered.
Yes. And what is the emotion that's around it? What is the emotion that's around what you're saying? What is the vibration of it? And you can feel the lower, your mood dropping, the indignation or a little bit of anger or a little bit of jealousy or a little bit of something. You can feel that in the question or the answer.
Yeah. Are you feeling it in your body?
Right.
Yeah, is another way to know that it's ego.
And if you have a good teacher, which I don't ever suggest anyone develop without a good teacher, that teacher is going to help you through that. Will absolutely help you through knowing the difference.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they better.
Okay, what's next?
Number 9. Can evil and anxiety within a person's heart help invite negative entities? I'm going to say that a low vibration in a house is an invitation to earthies. So in that sense, yes. It's not as simple though as that question makes it sound.
Right.
Correct.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, but if you have a low vibrational life, If that activity, your activity, is of a low vibration and you're doing evil stuff,
Right.
you're a good candidate. Yeah, you're
Yes.
a good candidate for it.
And typically with entities, something that has never been human, really low, they it's almost like they have to be invited in. It's kind of like a vampire, right? But that's how they get their hold on you, is by, once you agree, once you say, come on in, however you do that, and they're very tricky, they will come in and they'll make themselves at home. And then you've got a real problem. But yes.
Yeah.
All right. And it causes all kinds of anxiety. So, and then it becomes, is it the chicken or the egg? What came first? Did your anxiety happen before the entity, or did the anxiety happen after the entity? Because you're going to have a lot of anxiety if you have something living in your home with you.
Absolutely.
Yes. And also there's something here about it being a medical issue. Always talk to your doctor first. Always get that medical help and get a clearing of your home. It doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt to have a clearing of, and then you'll know, then you can say, okay, I know it's not paranormal, so I'm going to put that over there. And now I'm really going to deal with this. But always get medical advice. We are not in place of medical advice.
Always, always, always.
Yes.
And whether that's physical, medical, or emotional, medical.
Yes. And if you're wondering, part of this too is this person's wondering if there's something in their home, you'd have to contact us for us to know.
Yeah.
And we're not going to just tell you what's there. If you ask us, we're going to come clear it all out. So we don't do just I'm telling you what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go to another one.
Yeah. So there's a couple of more grid ones there.
Oh, yeah. I think, so I think one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to cut up this video because there are so many. We used to do it like where they were a couple hours long. I think that we are going to cut this in half and do this part now. And then next week we'll put out the other half. And we don't want everyone to like get tired and not go till the end because they're like, oh, I can't listen anymore.
Absolutely.
I'd like to get to one of these questions.
Yeah.
Yes. So one, we've kind of already sort of talked about this, but we might have a little more to say. Okay. And that is, can you talk about your experience with the demon and how did you both deal with it? So we've kind of talked about that. But like most things, I'll say this, when we go into anything paranormal, we are prepared. We do not, this is where we put our ego is not in it. Let me tell you.
Cannot be.
And we listen to our guidance. The type of guidance that is needed for a possession is different than the guidance that we'll get for non-possession. Okay. So those guides show up, which clues us in to what's going on. And that's true no matter where we go.
Everywhere. Yeah.
No matter where. The guide that we need shows up, and that's how we know what we're doing. We keep our ego out of it. For us to think that we know better than spirit or whatever, I mean, you're just looking for disaster. Yeah. The one that you might be, Mari-Lyn and I, with one of my mentors, helped this man who was possessed, and it was the sounds that were coming from him were unreal. This poor man, he was I think like 20 something, maybe 30.
Maybe, but
maybe.
Yeah, I think
he, speaking of what he did, a lot of, he smoked a lot of weed. So I'm going to say that right now, because we just had that question about marijuana and so forth.
Right.
He had a lot. He'd been smoking a lot. Marijuana and alcohol will tear down your defenses. They lower your vibration. And if you do it long enough, and I know Mari-Lyn can speak to this, you don't get that great high anymore like you did the first few times. Like it's that chasing thing, like you're chasing. So, so you start doing it all the time. And, people that, like myself, I drink on occasion, and I can say that I have fun doing it, and I like it, and I'm happy. I'm one of those happy drunk people. Not that I really get drunk, but I'm a happy person. But I don't do it that often. So it's very similar each time I do it, because it's so far and few between when I do it. When you're doing it all the time, there's a difference. And Mari-Lyn can certainly speak to that. So
there's a maintaining level that happens. Okay. You're just doing it to maintain that awfulness. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what this young man did. And he was doing it all the time. He invited something in, is what he did. They had activity in their home that really took down his defenses. I don't remember now, but I think he was trying to communicate. He thought that, he was all high and everything all the time, and he thought he could communicate with spirits. And what he ended up doing was inviting something in. And so this lower vibrational being took residence within his body.
Yes, he did.
Yes. And it, at the moment is happening, there is fear that will sort of run through you, but we can't stay in fear. So we have learned how to just say, okay, fear, you go over here. That's going to get me hurt staying in fear. Something's going to go really wrong. I'm going to go too far into my ego, my traumas, my wounding. Like, that's not going to work. So with the help of my mentor, there were 3 of us. My mentor is a man, and he's quite a large man. So physically, he was able to subdue this young man, thankfully. And then we were able to do what we had to do to separate them, and then have that entity taken away. It was later when Mari-Lyn and I went, oh my gosh, this was the first time we did that together. And it was like, oh, wow.
It was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. There are other, not with possession, with other things, that it's later that we go, oh my God, did that really happen? And then we start comparing notes and talking. It's like, yep, that really happened.
Yeah. When you're in that high vibration of love in your channel, you're listening to spirit.
Yes.
Your ego doesn't have a chance to process what's happening as it should be. You just can't. And so afterwards, when you are human again, and you're in this 3D world, you're like mind blown.
Yes.
Even as some of the fabulous, wonderful things, it's the same thing. It's mind blowing. It really is.
And you really care about not just the human, but the entity as well. There's a lot of love there for both. At any time, an entity can choose to heal. He did not, but there's still always that there. So yeah, it was that was our first time together doing that, and it was really crazy. And I am thankful as all hell that Rod was there with us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very, very, very grateful for him. So
very grateful. I'm also very grateful that we have not had another scenario like that since.
Yeah, they're really extremely rare. I've been involved in a couple of them. That was the only one with Mari-Lyn, and they're very rare, very rare. Being jumped, that's way more common. Yeah. Or people just thinking that they're crazy because they have an entity that's really manipulating them. That's really common too. People who think they might be possessed, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's more common. Well, definitely more common than,
Yeah.
than actual possession.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
there's more fun in doing that.
Yes.
The entity actually.
Yes. 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 Okay. Let's answer one more, and
Okay.
then I think we're gonna to call this first one, and then we'll be done, and we'll do a second one. So it's really enjoyable for everyone to watch.
I think so. I think that's
absolutely.
I think that's a great idea.
This is, would you work with a ghost hunting group and help them learn to cross over ghosts? Sure. I mean, if they were serious, but they'd have to go by our, you have to heal. There's a lot of development that has to be done. There's a lot of steps to it, but of course we would. Would we just say, okay, here, come on up, let me teach you how to cross something? No. That's crossing over a spirit is only one part of a much bigger process that happens. Mm-hmm. It's not just about crossing over the spirit and fixing a grid. There's so much more to it. So, and the grids we'll get to in the next video.
Yes, we will.
But so it depends on what they would want. Yeah. Just learning how to cross over, no. But if they really wanted to learn how to be a paranormal medium, and they were serious about their healing, they were serious about what they were going to do with it, then sure, of course, just like I would anyone else. But typically, though, ghost hunters don't want any of that because they like the thrill, they like the adrenaline rush, they like to, do all the investigating, what they call investigating, poking at the spirits. What is your name? How can I help? And they can't, and all of that. So anyway, all right. Thank you so much for this great
Thank you, everybody, for submitting and
yes, and please share our channel. We really have a different perspective than anyone else out there that we've heard of, and we really want this perspective to put out there that ghosts, what we call earthies, they deserve love, they deserve to be healed, they deserve all the respect that we humans deserve, and more, because they need the help. They can't help themselves.
They cannot.
So we really want to get that message out there. We appreciate all the questions. And if you did not get your question answered this time, it will be in the next video next week.
Yes.
Those of you in the United States, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So yeah.
For the rest of you, happy November.
Yes. Please like, subscribe, share, do all of that lovely stuff. And it really does help our channel get out there more if you like and you leave a comment.
It does.
We'd really be grateful for all that. So all the links are below where you can find us. We'd love to hear from you. If you need a service, tcseverydaypsychics.com. All right. Thank you.
Till next time.
See ya. Bye.